Testing babies. 1, 2, 3. Light. Let there be light. Alright, my guys. So, let's approach the world in a way. Right? Right. Today's video is Tariq says, don't force yourself to be productive. By the way, my name is Tariq. And there must be a reason why it says Tariq. I said Tariq. It's written my name and says. Don't force yourself to be productive. Use the time to understand why you aren't. Anytime there's an action, declaration, it is not I who does it. It is Tariq telling me something. Listening to him increases the bond, harmony, and trust. Hint of pride. Not bad. Not bad. Alright, I'm gonna pause, savor the moment, and come back to this. Alright, so I kinda took a break, man. Tariq says, don't force yourself to be productive. Use that time to understand why you aren't. Anytime there's an action declaration, it is not I who does it. It's Tariq talking to me or telling me something. And listening to him increases the bond, harmony, and trust. This book is a year old, and this is a note that I wrote sometime either early this year or late last year. But what it's saying is, don't waste your energy, maybe. Let's talk about productivity. In truth, productivity is built by us because we as human beings have that constant need to measure something. We have this constant need to know what we're doing. That takes away from we could use focus. But if I say focus, it's going to dissipate into like the whole how we see focus. But in truth is, can you spend time with something or someone and have expectations and still have the energy actually driven towards them directly? What I'm thinking about right now is a date. It's like if you're going on a date with somebody, the first thing that happens, well, depends. If you're anxious, then you're probably hoping it goes well, which means you're focused on a lot of things that you could do right, right? If you're not really anxious, you're calm, you're open to see how it goes. Then your expectations are kind of like not there. So it's not like you approach things with confidence, but ultimately there's a certain strength between understanding what exactly, like understanding what the moment needs, what the date needs, what the situation needs. Because you're open, right? Because you have no preconceived notion of how it's supposed to look like. You didn't plan, you didn't prepare. You just kind of was like, okay, let's go out and do something, and then basically, a maximum you pick a place, right? Because We don't say we pick a place where we have the best food and then we basically like go party somewhere else. Like, all of these come with expectations, and don't get me wrong, they can be met, and meeting those is a high on its own. But we dismiss some of the energy that goes into like the action itself because we're kind of like training the situation to get to where we want. We're forcing it, pushing it, we're applying some form of pressure. So the idea, or from a structured perspective, how I would say it is, I would say we're forcing the outcome. That's a good way to say it. The more expectations you have, you're either forcing something that's not true by pretending, like right, you could pretend to be confident, or you could just be arrogant because you're like overly confident, or you're confident to a point where that confidence has become the standard of your approach. You kind of lose the whole like, what is this new moment, new hour, new time? And from the perspective that of productivity, like it's measured by what our expectations are, which takes out the action that we're doing. Like, why are we doing this? We're doing this because of we wanted to, because there's something in our head. So when we're doing it, we need to give it its time. And after we're done doing it, then we're able to reflect on where we are because of it. It's the journey between you, whatever it is you're doing, and whatever the relationship has become. Like what I know, what I'm getting into, and what's kind of like connecting me to it. That in itself is a bond. The same way you can consider like a relationship with yourself is basically built on many small relationships you have with your environment. Because the more you understand whatever's around you, it's easier for you to be able to understand yourself and the other way around. But in this here, anytime there's an action declaration, it is not I who does it, it's Tariq that's talking to me, that's telling me something. Because like normally we translate, when I say we, I'm a firm, not firm, I'm an advocate to the ego is what we label. And I feel like when our naming is what labels our existence here and what gives birth to the ego. Because under normal circumstances, we have nothing in between me and the world, or nothing between I and the world. But what we did was we had a me. It's like that's the reflection. So the thoughts in your head, because they are all the other voices that you hear, but ultimately your voice is one of them. And your voice in multiple situations and multiple tonalities and multiple incidents throughout your life. So one of these voices is the current self or the current ego's presence. And so when you're kind of like hearing your thoughts and feeling frustrated because of them, you are listening. Your ego is talking to you if you're listening. So the idea is anytime there's an action or declaration, because most of the time that's the loop that we get into. I'm going to do this. Now, as long as you do what you say you're going to do, it's not say you're going to do it's easy. But in your head, there's a lot more that you say you're going to do. And those little synapses, those little like changes in your attitude after you actually like do what you say you're going to do. And the only way you listen to them, you're showing respect to that voice. That voice either grows or it gets dismissed because it's not really relevant at the moment. It's not your voice of now, it's your voice of 5 years ago. Like, I should have done this. If you do it, you don't hear that I should have done this anymore. That part of you is conquered or established or processed, released. So when it comes to productivity specifically, there's no point to be productive because when you're doing something, all you're supposed to be doing is that thing, is you're applying your energy into whatever it is you're doing. And when your thoughts are in the way, that's where the energy should be applied. Like literally, there's the energy where you're looking at your thoughts, and there's the energy where you're applying things. So it's passive and active. And I feel the core of this is normally what we do is we force ourselves to kind of get things done. And ultimately we reach our targets, but our targets are designed by a crappy like sense of understanding. So we do reach targets, but they're not really like relevant ones. So anytime you're not feeling productive, the best thing you can do instead of trying to be productive is to spend time on that lack of productivity and see what thoughts are trying to explain that feeling to you and try. It is a trial, that's why I'm using try. Maybe trials are emotional and attempts are logical. That could work. But listening to the words and the thoughts and the rhetoric that's going on in your head is probably the best thing you can do. Not analyze, not assess, just listen to them for a better understanding of what the productivity you're seeking is and where your position is towards it. And maybe you don't necessarily have to have expectations and just kind of like do what you have to do or what you want to do. It's a video. I love you guys.